Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of As the Crow Flies Hiking. Today I'd like to talk about the Techoss Power Station, a large battery power bank that comes from Techoss. It delivers 300 watts of power, and that's a pretty good amount of power for a battery bank of this size. Now yeah, you can have a larger battery bank for base camping and backpacking, maybe 500, 600 watts. But the 300 watts to me is about the right size for the type of backpacking that I've been doing lately. I've had an issue of late dealing with my backpacking trips because I do a lot of base camping. That is, I'll go to a trailhead, hang out there, and do several nights of a loop or different trailheads and park my car and then go out and come back and then go to a different trailhead in the different areas. Because I do all this crazy YouTube stuff, I have to recharge all my battery banks, my headlamp, my iPad, my phone, and everything else dealing with electronics that you deal with YouTube and deal with backpacking in general. So I was looking for something of this sort to deal with for base camping, and Techoss had contacted me. Initially, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a review of this product, but then I got it, had tested it out on several trips, and really like it. Let's talk about some of the features of the Techoss Power Station. First of all, as I said, it's 300 watts, so it delivers a lot of power from the DC side or the AC side. Now, some battery banks of this size don't deliver a lot of options for connections. This does. On the DC side, it has, typically like you would see in your car for a car charger, you just plug it in there. And that delivers 12 volts, or essentially you can get up to 60 watts on this side of a peak power output. On the other end of this, you also have a 12 volt, 3 amps DC standard outlet there. Along with it, you also have a USA port, a standard size USA USB port, and a USB port for a USB type of cord. So those adapters give you a lot of options in dealing with your electronics out on the trail for base camping, as I do. It also has a strobe light and a light. So you can turn this power on and get a light if you want it, or a strobe light. Let's take a look at it. On this side, as I said, you have the standard kind of car charger that you can plug in. I typically use that when I'm dealing with my iPhone or things like that. I just plug in a standard car charger like this and can use the lightning charger to charge my cell phone. But then with the USB ports, I can charge all my battery banks and things like that that I need to continue on a backpacking trip. If I'm going out for a few days, I will simply charge in the USB, or I can charge the USB-C port in there to charge battery banks and other things like my headlamp and things like that. It also has the AC side. The AC side has a standard in-the-wall charger that you can plug in, and it delivers up to 200 watts at a peak of 300 watts. So it has the standard 10 volt or 300 watt peak from a standard kind of in-the-wall charger. So you can do that for small items like lights and different appliances, even a small TV. This is the port where you plug it in. Essentially, you plug this cord. Here is your adapter to the wall, the AC adapter, and you plug it in here to repower all your electrons and get what you need for the battery bank itself. The unit also comes with a standard Techoss USB-C to USB-C cable, and a lot of these power banks don't give you that type of cord with it, so that you can plug this in and use it for your standard USB-C connections. Another nice feature with this Techoss power bank is the fact that it has a power delivery device in it. So on the USB-C input, and when you connect it to certain devices like a drone or your iPad or other large devices that you really want protection from, it essentially knows, like a smart device, how much wattage needs to go to it and how much output it does to charge the device. So it doesn't overcharge the device or mess up the batteries, because essentially most of the devices you connect it to are going to be more expensive items than the power bank itself, so you want that particular charge. It also has protections on the device itself, so it essentially will not allow it to short it out or mess up your device in any way, and that's really good. It doesn't overheat. It has a small fan here, so that's a great little asset to this power bank that some of the power banks don't have. But anytime you want to use one of the outputs on the DC side, you simply turn it on, and it has a nice little LED feature here that tells you what power you have left and what is on and what's off. And so each time you use one, you can turn it off when you're done and turn it back on. If you want to use the light, you simply turn the light on and turn the light off, or turn it to the strobe. So that's a great little feature. If you're at the end of your day and you want to charge your device at camp, you can turn the light on as you're charging your devices. It usually takes about 5 or 5.5 hours to charge it. I've charged it a few times now, and that's about standard for this, about 5 and 5.5 hours. So if you're going on a base camp, or you're going backpacking or RVing or camping or something of that sort, and you want to go to your camping site, you can carry this along. It's only about 7 pounds. So obviously not used for ultralight backpacking, but if you're going to a backpacking site or just a campground and you want to carry this, this is a great little device that you can carry out. It comes with straps, so you can put it over your shoulder, or it has a nice little carrying handle here. Another feature that this Techoss power bank has is it is a pure sine wave. I was doing my research on it and found that some of these devices have an intermittent sound wave, and they don't particularly work well with some devices that they charge, because some of these electronic devices now are very finicky. But with a pure sine wave, it has a complete and smooth discharge of the electrons to the device itself. And that's a great feature, because you want your devices to charge smoothly. You don't want them to overcharge. You don't want them to short. And that is another protection that's built in, along with the fan, to give you good protection of your device itself and make sure that whatever device you're charging is not going to malfunction in the charging process itself. When you're charging phones or tablets like that, it has 5 volts or 2.4 amps going out to it, which is the highest amount of range. So essentially 60 watts can go out to the device, and that's a great amount, pretty much the full amount of wattage that can go to a device like that, and has maximum power to charge it. As I was talking about some of the things it charges, it is important to know just how many times it will charge a device and how long it will take. So for a laptop that you charge in on the USB-A port, or even the USB-C port, if that charge is allowed for a laptop, it will charge one of those, because it has the maximum amount, and some of these devices won't charge a laptop, but this one does. So it takes about 6 hours to charge a laptop. It'll even charge a mini fridge. It will charge a CPAP device. It will charge a smartphone about 20 or 30 times. It'll charge a TV, and it'll charge a tablet about 20 times. Let me show you some of the battery devices that I use to charge when I'm backpacking. Obviously, you can use this for multiple activities, whether it's car camping or just camping out at a campground, or if you're doing drone devices or things like that, this device will charge all of those things. But I use mine on the AC side sometimes for my GoPro batteries. I have a 2 battery charger, and I can charge my GoPro batteries on the AC side to give that maximum amount of wattage out, to get those charged really quickly if I'm using them for the next day. I also can take my headlamp. I have the Nightcore U25. I can take it, turn it on this side with the standard USB-A USB cord, and charge it there, and get my headlamp ready for that night or the next day of backpacking from a loop trail or whatever I'm doing from my base camp. I can take my battery banks that I use out in the field, and I can charge them through this device and simply get that charge going. Say I'm at base camp and then I'm going out for a couple of days, going to leave this and go out for a couple of days and need a battery bank for that 2 days for my GoPro or my camera or my iPhone. Well, I can charge this battery bank through this at night if I'm at base camp or at the campgrounds and have everything I need charged. On the AC side, if I want to charge my tablet, I've got my charger here, and I can charge a standard tablet with it, and it will take this device there, but it's great to have this option if I need to charge my tablet on the device itself. Another great option on the DC side is, of course, this battery charger that is essentially a car charger. It delivers 12 volts, so anything under 12 volts that can go in your car, it will charge there. It has the output of 8 amps. So I can take this car charger and plug it in my iPhone, and I'm charging on it. Just turn that on, and I'm charging my iPhone here for that device. So up to 6 devices at one time, delivering 300 peak watts, but I've charged 4 or 5 devices on here at once, and all those devices went at once, and I got them all charged and still had, I think, 80% left of the battery on here after I charged all that. And that is a great compliment to Techoss and this wonderful power bank. For 300 watts, it is a great device that you can use for backpacking, for camping, for a day out in the field when you're using a drone, or whatever devices you need charged. But also, if you just need it for an emergency device, if you just want to leave it in your car and you're not into the backpacking and things like I am in outdoors, it is a great device to have, and every once in a while you need to charge it. Keep it in your car if you're in a weather event or an emergency. You've got this wonderful device that you can charge any electronic devices that you need. So I appreciate Techoss for contacting me. I'll be using this. I'll have it in my vehicle at BASECAMP or wherever I go if I need to charge my electronic devices. Thank you guys for watching another episode of As the Crow Flies Hiking. If you're interested in the Techoss Power Station or Power Bank, you can see the link down below. I'll have the link there for you. Anyway, as I've got all this gear out here today, I thought I would do some charging and maybe do some hiking out here at the trailhead. I'll see you on the next episode of As the Crow Flies Hiking.